Welcome to B'madzajiig Ginonindwa. This podcast is produced by the Communications Department at the Anishinaabeg Nation. We will be focusing on the issues and initiatives in Anishinaabeg Nation territory. I'm your host, Lisa Abel. Anishinaabemowin is the Ojibwe language. Many dialects of Anishinaabemowin are spoken throughout a wide territory stretching from Quebec to Manitoba, with a concentration of language speakers around the Great Lakes. In this episode of B'madzajiig Ginonindwa, we will hear from Anishinaabemowin instructor and champion Isidore Toulouse. We talked about the state of Anishinaabemowin in 2024. Are there enough fluent Anishinaabemowin speakers today to carry the language on? Is it important to know how to speak the language? And should we know how to write it too? What are the best ways to learn the language? Stay tuned for this and more, including Isidore's recommendations for learning Anishinaabemowin across the territory. Isidore Toulouse has been involved in Anishinaabemowin promotion for over 40 years. To many in our community, he needs no introduction. But to outline the extent of his work, Isidore Toulouse Bibamakwe is a member of the Turtle Clan from Wikwemkong unceded territory. Raised by his grandparents, he grew up immersed in Anishinaabemowin. He was inspired by his family's example to devote much of his life to championing the language. Isidore has taught Anishinaabemowin at the elementary, high school, and post-secondary levels, including his current work with Lakehead University's Indigenous Language Instructors Program and the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians Culture Department. He has created an Ojibwe language book and CD, co-translated several children's books, and his community language classes can be found on YouTube, ensuring a wide accessibility to Anishinaabemowin learning for years to come. In 2022, Isidore was honored with an Anishinaabeg Lifetime Achievement Award in the category of Culture. The citation recognized his contributions to our language and cultural survival, but also noted his brilliance, sense of humor, and fun-loving personality. Isidore supports the Anishinaabeg Nation's Anishinaabemowin initiatives by teaching weekly language lessons to staff, by providing simultaneous translation, and by serving as a member of the Anishinaabeg Nation's Anishinaabemowin Revitalization Committee. My interview with Isidore took place during the Anishinaabeg Nation Grand Council Assembly in June 2024. During breaks and translation services for the meeting, he was busy crafting at a booth, selling items made by himself and his family. Isidore, welcome to B'madzajiig Ginonindwa. Thank you for being here with us today. Today we're going to be talking about Anishinaabemowin and Anishinaabemowin language revitalization. So
okay, yes, I'm looking forward to working with B'madzajiig Ginonindwa.
Miigwech. So how about to start, if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and the kind of things you're doing.
Well, my name is Isidore Toulouse Bibamakwe from Wikwemkong unceded First Nation. I started my high school schooling in Michigan, first 2 years, and then I transferred to White Pines in Sault Ste. Marie. Finished my schooling there, and then I went right to Trent University and did my degree at Trent University. 3 years after that, I got a teaching job at White Pines, the same high school I graduated from, to teach Anishinaabemowin. So I was a language teacher there for a few years, and then I got a job in Toronto, and then got a job in Sutton, became a teacher there for about 20 years. And then I transferred to Traverse City, Michigan. So that's where I now reside, in Traverse City, Michigan, teaching language. I taught language at the high school in Suttons Bay, Michigan, for 10 years, and then I transferred to work with the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians for another 7 years now, working with language revitalization for their community. And I do other work with other places, especially with the Anishinaabeg Nation, where I'm one of the language people that work with language And I do translation services with the Anishinaabe Nation for their General Assembly. We just finished the translation for this assembly here. And we normally do the fall assembly. And we started it's been about 30 years since I've been with the Anishinaabe Nation doing the translation services. Yeah.
Okay. So you're talking about your career. It sounds like you've been working decades in language.
Yes, very, very much so. I also teach at Lakehead University for the last 32 years. I graduated from their program, Native Language Teachers Instructors Program, back in 1989 or 98, somewhere around there. But I've been there about 30 years teaching the summer program, the Anishinaabe program, where we teach teachers how to become teachers. So my main course is Approaches to Bilingual Education, the ways and means to teaching, to being able to teach both English and Anishinaabe, and how to articulate the various nuances of the sound of the language to bring it to the forefront to the students, how to use English language to encompass what it is that we're teaching.
Can you share about your experience learning your language? Did you learn it at home in your community? Where did you learn it?
It was. We were raised in Wikwemkong at Rabbit Island, where my family and my parents spoke Anishinaabe fluently. It was the main language of the home. And I was raised by my grandparents, Ignatius and Olive Trudeau, and they spoke fluently in the language. Well, everybody back then spoke Anishinaabe. And aunties and uncles, brothers and sisters, everybody just spoke the language, and that was the norm back then. Language was prevalent everywhere.
Do you feel there were any of these kind of intergenerational influences on speaking or not speaking the language?
I think it became a what do you call it? A mindset of people that wanted to see the language flourish. So they taught their children the language. But there was another mindset that people thought that language will not get them anywhere in life. That's what they were taught in school. That's what they were taught by the missionaries. That's not going to teach you. That's not going to get you anywhere. And they didn't bother teaching their children the language. So because their mindset was dead set on stating that language will get them nowhere. With me, language has gotten me to travel around the world. I've been to various conferences, to New Zealand, to Australia, to different parts of Michigan, United States, where my language has been my forefront to do workshops in Anishinaabe. So
it sounds like it's been very valuable for
you.
It
certainly has been, yes.
And that came from your community, the people you're surrounded with really
Right.
put a high value on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's interesting. So you're talking about how, you've been teaching the language and you've been going in different places in around the Great Lakes and Anishinaabe territory. So what have you found, speaking the language in different areas? Because I know there are different dialects, different communities. What's that experience been like?
One of the biggest drawbacks that I see is the language is being lost, yes, but the retention value of our language speakers from Wikwemikong, from Manitoulin Island, or around this area, the fluency of language is very prevalent. Though the dialect differences vary, even in Wikwemikong itself, we have the three languages, the Potawatomi, the Ojibwe, and the Odawa. Potawatomi is prevalent in South Bay. Rabbit Island, where I'm from, the Ojibwe Odawa is prevalent. And in the village of Wikwemikong, all three languages are prevalent. So speaking to someone, we can still speak to each other. We speak to each other fluently. But there's some little nuances of different sounds of words that people use in Kabone, in Rabbit Island, in South Bay, in Sagmuk, in West Bay. Different dialect variances. So Wikwemikong has mostly Odawa speaking, yet you have Ojibwe and Potawatomi speakers, but we can still communicate with each other. Chiging has Odawa Ojibwe. Sagmuk has mostly Ojibwe speakers. But you can see the intermarriages of different people that came from Wiki, married into Sagmuk, married into Birch Island, married into West Bay. And they bring their language with them, the Odawa language with them. So the prevalence of language as I travel around in different areas, one of the drawbacks is people say, I don't want to learn your dialect. You're from Wiki. Well, you're not going to learn anything then. You keep saying that. And that's the trouble people say in different communities, that we want to learn our own dialect. Well, there's no speakers in your home community, so you're going to have to take it from us to see and try and transfer it to as best as you can to your own dialect. And that's very hard to do because there are not many speakers in those communities. So that's the trouble.
And then you're in the United States right now.
I'm in the United States.
Is that a different dialect over there as well?
And luckily, the tribe that I work for is the Odawa tribe of Grand Traverse Band. So their main language was the Odawa language, which is fine and dandy for us as the teachers that go there, because it's the Odawa language. And we can still communicate with the different people that speak the language, which isn't very many.
So you're mentioning, we have these different dialects, these different specific Anishinaabemowin languages, because you mentioned the Odawa, the Potawatomi, Ojibwe, and then I hear too, like Nibising, that's a dialect to itself. So how does this also impact written Anishinaabemowin language? Do you work in that field as well? And how does the existence of different dialects and different spellings, how does that impact written language?
I think one of the biggest things that you see today is the double vowel system. And that is a linguist-created system by Chuck Fierro. And that was really adopted across Canada, the double vowel system of Anishinaabe. So we try to accommodate that in all of the languages using that double vowel system for Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi languages.
Okay, so there is some consistency there.
There is consistency, yeah.
Okay, but still the distinctiveness of our dialects and our
Very
languages.
very much prevalent, yeah.
Okay, so then if someone was looking to learn their language, say if I was approaching the school in Sault Ste. Marie, for example, then I need to know what dialect are you you're encouraging people to just go ahead.
Yeah, you just go ahead and learn from whoever it is that's there teaching the language, and it's your job to try and change, or it's your job to
adapt.
To adapt to that style of speaking, be it Ojibwe, be it Odawa, be it Potawatomi.
You've come with an environment that's rich in language speakers and rich in Anishinaabemowin around you. But at the same time, what is your sense of the state of Anishinaabemowin today?
Dire state. In Wikwemikong, there are probably 600 speakers out of the reserve population of 8,000 to 10,000 people. About 600 speakers, approximately.
And are they of a certain generation?
They are of a certain age. I would say 50 and up. 40 and up understand. 30 and up can do the basics of Anishinaabe. But the younger generation don't have the language base, the language skills, which is a shame. And the 600 are probably in their 60s and 70s and 80s, probably within the next 20 years. So I don't know what the state of the language will be.
So we really need to be taking a lot of action right now.
We really need to be taking a lot of action to save the current language that we have through podcasts like this where we're speaking the language. I mean, it'd be great if we had somebody else here, and maybe that's something that you can start working on in your podcast, where it's the fluency of Anishinaabemowin. People just talking to each other in the language, visiting one another.
I'd love to do that.
Those are the best parts, the best ways to bring the language to the forefront.
So you're talking about immersive environments where people are having conversations. What other kind of initiatives are you seeing out on the territory to help revitalize the language?
The one that we saw yesterday on the video with Barb Nolan's little podcast that she's doing, I think she finished 3 out of 10 already. So those simple little language learning snippets are really, really excellent. There's other teachers out there that do Anishinaabe programming. Language camps are really, really prevalent these days. But I think teaching language in a school setting is only a Band-Aid solution. Because the kids that learn the language in that 20-minute class, 40-minute class, they have no one to go home to speak to. Because the parents don't speak it.
Yeah.
So the children, who are they going home to speak to about the language? There might be some parents that care and want to learn with their children, and yes, I've heard that. But teaching it in a school setting is only, like I said, a Band-Aid solution. It's not going to...
So we need it at home.
Yeah, we
and
need
then
it at
we need
home.
it in the community. We need it in our workplaces. We need it on TV or the radio.
Yeah,
Or
and my big thing is, I've always said, to have it playing in the work office, listening to it subliminally. As you're working, you hear someone speaking Anishinaabe fluently, 8 hours a day. You hear that voice. Okay, but it's just like elevator music. Yeah, so you hear that in the workplace. That should be something that our First Nations people should be doing, listening to that language constantly. So maybe these podcasts, it might be something that we can be doing within the First Nations that we have.
or kind of learning how to do like transactions in the community in the language, at all times, right? Well, yeah, I just feel overwhelmed thinking about it, especially you mentioned like the situation is dire. I'm over 40, that generation. So yeah, I found that same challenge of how, if I don't have the language, then how am I teaching my own children the language? And then we're busy in our own lives. And especially if you're in the city, where are you finding these language
Right.
resources to teach as a parent and to teach your children? It's, yeah. Do you know if there are any movements towards having, more intensive education systems in the language?
No, not really. But that's always been my goal or my wish to have all of the immigrants that come to this country to have a knowledge base of simple language in the different territories across Canada. That should be one of the stipulations to get into Canada, to get your citizenship to our country, both Canada and United States. That's something that should be done, that you're an immigrant coming into this country, learn about who we are, learn about our language, our ways, and hopefully that might help bring language to the forefront.
Yeah. Well, because especially I think we know that people who are coming from other countries, they understand the importance of retaining their cultures and their languages in their home communities as
Right.
well, right?
Yes, and if they go back to their countries, they can have their language. We don't. We don't have anywhere to go. This is our home. This is our country. Where do we go? We can't go anywhere to go learn our language back. But yet they can go back to their own countries and learn their language.
Yeah. Well, I guess the hard part is that across the world, all sorts of cultures and nations have experienced colonization and imposition of other languages and cultures and everything. So it's pretty complicated. But then you mentioned also that you do this translation work. So can you talk about the kind of translation work that you're doing as well? It's pretty much English to Anishinaabe.
Yeah. With the program here that my auntie Shirley Williams and I do, Shirley is the person that works with me. So we do simultaneous translation. So when someone speaks the language, we translate into English. Or when someone speaks in English, we try as much as we can to translate as much of their English into Anishinaabemowin so the people can hear that are wearing the headsets in the language. So once someone speaks, I might translate a good 20 minutes of their translation, and then somebody else comes on, it's Shirley's turn. So we take turns speaking because it would be a great challenge for one person to do that 8 hours a day.
When you're translating at meetings, do you find any technical terms to be challenging
Oh,
sometimes?
there are very many technical terms, challenging technical terms. And that's why both Shirley and I, we try and bring our resources, we try and bring our various dictionaries to say, because there's times that we get stuck on words. Okay, Shirley, what is this word?
Did anything happen most recently?
No,
that you were
no,
kinda
not recently, but there are different times that the different speakers are talking about different things about politics where they say it pisses me off. Like how do you translate that? so so we just write out because no, it's not a bad word. Doji shigend migun, meaning I'm pissed off. Like that's not a bad word. It's an action that we do. So
Okay.
I mean, we have no bad words in the language. It's just how you construe the language.
But what about like all these technical terms, like legal terms, terms about land claims and all that kind of stuff? You know,
Oh yeah,
that things that,
there are.
especially like, because in our forms of understanding the world, we might not have these kind of concepts, but yet we're negotiating with governments that have all these legal terms around land claims and all that kind of stuff.
And we'll just use the word land claims. Usually, if it's just a big long-winded speech, we'll just say blah 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 and then land claims and blah blah blah. Continue on. So
Okay.
yeah. But we'll try after the fact and try and find different words to relate to the various words that they've used as the translators. So let's try and find these words that they use, and we'll try and incorporate them at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so that sounds like intense work, right? Like
It
doing
certainly
live
is.
translation.
It certainly is.
Do you also do like written translation?
We do
that?
written translations. We do a lot of written translations for the government. Right now, we are working for the Art Gallery of Ontario in Toronto, and they send us snippets of short 2-paragraph translated works of different artists from around the world, and they use those captions on the bottom of each of the paintings that they are showing in their exhibits. We do legal documents from different organizations, the RHT,
Okay, the Robinson Huron.
Robinson Huron. I'm doing the entire document right now for the group to translate that entire RHT program.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, that is.
Are there as many language speakers who are learning to write it though, compared to people who are learning to speak it?
Not really. There is a big decline of the teacher ed programs. There's a big decline of people coming in to register to go to school. I mean, there's a lot of speakers that speak the language, but they can't write. They can't write the language.
And is that important for us to also build that up, that skill?
Yes and no. Yes and no. There's pros and cons with different things like that. I mean, there's teachers that can articulate the process of how language works, and there's teachers that can articulate just the voice, just the vocal of language, and they are excellent teachers. Those would be the immersion style teachers. And then the written part comes from people like me, people like Barb, people like Martina Zalmick, Shirley Williams, Rhonda Hopkins. We are good at articulating the written form. I mean, there's many others, but yes, there is I think a balanced level that we have with the speakers that we have that don't write the language, yet the speakers that we have that write in the language.
But overall, we still do want to increase the number of language speakers.
Overall,
for
we
sure.
still want to increase the number of language speakers, of course.
It sounds very challenging, right? To learn
It
to
is.
write it as well. So, are you finding, is there really a cohort? Is there a cohort of young people or younger generations prepared to carry the language on?
Yes, there are, but that brings a drawback to the current speakers, the current learners of Anishinaabemowin, because what happens is these new learners, these new speakers of language, they don't understand the nuances of the fluency of language, the fluency of articulating what is animate and inanimate of Anishinaabemowin language. The problem they have is they're learning to speak the language by conjugating, using the word conjugate, using transitive inanimate verbs, inanimate transitive verbs, all of those different things that a linguist knows how to break down the words. We speak our language, we speak fluently. We know and understand how the language works as a fluent speaker.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn I didn't learn what conjugate means till a couple of years ago.
Oh,
I'm 63 years old. I didn't learn what conjugate meant.
you learned it innately.
Yeah.
Not.
That's what conjugate means. I didn't know that. I knew how to articulate the various nuances of using the language, but these new speakers, that is what they based their learning on. Those inanimate transitive verbs, animate transitive verbs, AI. Oh, don't ask me about that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
And that's where people get stuck on, the new learners. And I'm what's the word? I guess dead set on stating that that is not the way to teach. Sorry to say, that is not the way to teach. You can't learn language by doing that way of teaching. I'm sorry, I have nieces and nephews that teach the language that way. I'm proud of them for doing that. I'm proud that they're able to speak, that they're able to teach, but teaching conjugating, teaching inanimate transitive words, to me, people get frustrated from that way of teaching, that way of learning. They come and say, "Oh, that's so overwhelming."
Well, I guess it's kind of imposing, kind of you're saying like a linguist type structure
Right,
on
right.
our
Yeah.
our language. So then, would you feel the solution is more really people learning in immersion environments, people learning in communities, or people learning on the land?
Yeah, I think that would be the best way, learning from the land, learning in an immersion setting, doing crafting, doing sewing in the language, doing activities, different activities, doing cooking in the language. Those are the best ways to learn, to immerse yourself in the language.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about your work in language?
I'm working on different things relating to language, written material that I'm hoping to get published within the next couple of months. I currently have a book that I do called Kidwinan that I wrote, maybe 30 years ago, that is really taking off. It's a good resource.
Kidwinan.
Kidwinan is called Kidwinan.
It's a language resource?
It's a language resource book with a CD. So the CD only has Anishinaabe on it. So you can put it in your car as you're playing, as you're driving along, and listen just to Anishinaabe, and maybe refer back to the book every so often. That's what I'm trying to update right now. So hopefully I'll get that done within the next few months.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a demand for language resources for sure. do, you ever write any other kind of things in the language? Like, do you ever write articles or stories? Or
Oh yeah, I have a lot of short stories that I do. I teach a class daily on Zoom with the tribe, and I have a variety of slides that I use through my Zoom class, and I make the changes on the first couple of slides, and I try to create a story to add to each of my slides daily. So a story might be I went fishing today. I caught a fish type of thing. And the next day I went to the grocery store. The next day I made supper. The next day. So every day is a different story. Maybe a paragraph long, and I just say it fluently in the language. And then we try and break it down from the different students that I have. I have students, regular students that log in daily. There's about 38 students, 35, 38 students that log in daily. And those students come from the Grand Traverse Band. There might be five students that log in regularly. So it's a tribe that I work for. But there are the other 30 or 35 that log in are from different parts of Canada, United States, and different parts of the world.
Is this open to
It's
anyone?
It's open to anybody.
Oh,
it's open to anybody. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll have to
So
share the link to
just
it.
go. Yeah, just go on the Grand Traverse Band of Ottawa and Chippewa Indians website, and they have that link, language and Anishinaabe link. And myself and Patricia Ozamic, Barb's sister, teaches with me. So I teach for the first half hour, and Pat teaches for the next half hour. And Pat teaches just fluency in Anishinaabe, speaking fluently.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mine comes with slides, and I teach the various things from my slides.
Okay, that's a good resource. Are there any other resources you would suggest for people trying to learn their language?
I think just going on the internet and looking for language websites, Anishinaabe programming, you'll be able to find different people that speak the language, that teach the language. So one of the other things that I'm trying to work on is doing a program where language is taught from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m. on Zoom from different teachers hourly. So 8 till 9, I might be teaching Anishinaabe. 9 till 10, Pat might be teaching. 10 till 11, Barb might be teaching. 11 to 12, we get somebody else teaching. 12 to 1, 1 to 2. Different teachers teaching the language all day long. So you as a student might want to learn from Barb. So you log in yourself at 11 till 12 when Barb teaches. Maybe Barb might have another class from 6 p.m. till 7 p.m. So you might want to log in again. Or you might want to log in all day long to hear the different eons of the language by each of the teachers. But that'll take you away from your job by sitting there learning Anishinaabe.
So it's like an online language
It's like an
school.
online language school that I'm trying to find funding to get that done.
Wow, but that's quite a commitment. Like every day, these
Every day,
people
yes,
are
every
committed
day.
to coming in an hour a day.
An hour a day.
Yeah. Well, maybe if we start like small, like you start with like 4 hours a day, and then as you find more language speakers to
I never thought of
participate,
that. That would be great. That would be great.
And then
Oh yeah.
it's doable.
It is doable.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. I feel like there's one more question I want to ask you, and I'm forgetting. Oh my goodness. We'll have to chat again then.
Yes. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shimigwech Isidore Toulouse for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Miigwech. All right.
Chimigwech to Isidore Toulouse and to the Anishinaabeg Nation's Anishinaabemowin program. You can find the link to Isidore's language classes in the podcast description. This episode includes the song Brothers by Wolf Saga and Chippewa Travelers and the track Where the Road Meets the Sky by Justin Delorme, licensed through Nagamo Publishing. Chimigwech for listening to this episode of Bemadzajig Ginonendwa. Until next time, Bama Pi.